Looking for some great quilting inspiration for a classic block? Stick around and we'll give you some great ideas. Welcome to Handi Quilter Watch and Learn. I'm Kim Sandberg and
I'm Kristina Whitney.
And today we are going to take a close look at a really classic quilting block, the Bear Paw, and give you guys some fun ways to finish this. American Patchwork and Quilting, the magazine, has sent us these blocks. They sent us two, and they asked us to come up with two different ways to quilt it. This has been really fun, hasn't it?
It has.
So a little challenging. I know we both have been like trying to pull out those creative ideas, but it's been really fun to look at a classic block and just maybe have some fun with the quilting. Yep. So should we just dive into this?
Yeah, I just did want to point out though that some of the rules that they gave us, not really rules, but guidelines, suggestions. They want one version that's a little bit more simple and another one that's a little bit more detailed or advanced, and all free motion or ruler work, no computerized. And we get to talk about the tools we use, the thread we're going to use, and all that fun stuff. So let's dive in.
Let's dive into this one. One other note is, even though we're going to be quilting on a Longarm quilting machine, all of the patterns we're showing you, you could absolutely quilt on your home sewing machine or on a stationary or sit-down quilting machine. Correct. Any kind of sewing machine that you can do free motion quilting on, you can do this on. So
you could even do it by hand if you were wild and crazy.
Actually, you absolutely could. You're exactly right. I didn't even think of that, but it's true. You could absolutely use these designs. So, okay, so we've got the Bear Paw here. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. So the first thing I want to talk about is, so I'm going to do the simpler design. That's why I'm starting here. And the first thing I want to talk about is thread. So I've got a few different threads here. I want to be able to use the same thread throughout the entire quilt or the entire block as it may be. And so I've got a few different ones here, and I am going to be quilting in all of the different colors. So I kind of want to, you always want to kind of puddle your thread, see what it's going to look like. Kind of get an idea.
Puddle without the preview paper?
So you that might be better. Good idea.
That one on top.
Good idea.
Just make sure we don't color on this one.
I like it. Puddle without the preview. Let's puddle without the preview.
Okay, so this is really tricky because the solid fabric, you're going to really see things. It doesn't really blend a whole lot.
Yeah.
And such contrasting colors.
Yes.
So finding that thread color was tricky.
Absolutely. So I'm looking at my three here, and you know, I was really thinking it was going to be one of these two, but I think this one is the one that's blending.
I think that one blends the best.
I do too. And so I want to use something the same all the way through. Okay, so this is So Fine from Superior Threads. It's color number 417. So that's what I am going to use to quilt the block with. And let's get into the rest of my design here. So I was trying to come up with something a little simpler, like I mentioned. So let me grab.
Let's move that one out of the way. We don't want to draw on that one. Only on the preview paper.
Only on the preview paper.
Oh, and let's talk about the preview paper real quick. So we've got this preview paper. It's a plastic film that's over the top that you can draw on with Sharpie or dry erase marker.
Yep.
And with the dry erase, you can wipe it off. It's much easier to audition your designs this way rather than stitching it out and being like, yeah, I don't like that idea.
And ripping out all the stitches. Absolutely. Yeah, I love this. And I love it too because you get to do it to scale. So you can really see how it's going to fill a space. Okay, so what I want to do is really a quilting that's going to emphasize the piecing, because there's a lot of fun piecing that goes into this. So my idea is to use straight line quilting and continuous curve. So I'm getting ahead of the thing here. We'll see if I beat Kristina to the continuous curve. But the first thing I want to do is I want to do just some straight lines through the center here. So I've got a ruler here. I've got the skinny straight. And I want to use a 1/2 inch offset. And the easiest way to do that without having to mark everything is to use some kind of a tool. So this is our Echo foot, and this is the 1/2 inch Echo foot. And the nice thing is it does have the tall profile on it, so you can absolutely use it with rulers. So I'm just going to show you guys this. I'm not going to actually measure it out while I'm drawing this all out, but I will use this. I'll be able to line that up along the edge there and then use this foot to get exactly what I want. So
now, if they didn't have that foot,
yes,
they could use the markings on the grid or on the ruler.
Exactly, exactly. If you use, this is our skinny straight ruler, and it does have markings every 1/4 inch, and so it is easy to get that. Okay, so what I want to do is do that 1/2 inch offset, and then I'm going to come back up here, and we'll do a little draw again, because I want to create a square in the center.
When you're stitching with your long arm, make sure you don't go off the edge of the ruler.
Yes. It's definitely a little different, and plus I'm trying not to get this to go over the top of the line so it doesn't smear or anything. Okay, so I'll do those. I'll go forward and backwards, and we'll see when I actually go to stitch if this is my stitch path, but this is my idea. So then what I want to do is come up and I want to do a continuous curve that goes to this corner and then up to this point, down to this corner, up to this point. Then I want to fill in this square all the way with continuous curve. And then what I'll do is I'll just travel out here in my outside the block here. If I was doing this with more blocks, I would just travel in my seam line. I would just create a stitch in the ditch. And then I want to come down and do the same thing here, go back up again, go here, go back up again. Then I'm going to do my straight lines that go through here, and because I don't want to smear things, I'm just going to see if I can draw a straight line. Once again, going back up. So what I've really done here is I've echoed the shape and the piecing that's here in the center. And then I'm just going to continue my way around with this continuous curve like this. So let's go like this. I'm going to come up and go around, go down, and then come back up again. Now, I want to get inside this square here to do some continuous curve in here. So what I'm going to do is just come to this corner along the stitch line. I'll just do a stitch in the ditch right there, and it will hide my stitching. Okay. And then I'm going to do a nice big continuous curve here like this. And then I can just pop back out again and then continue my design all the way around my quilt.
Fun.
So it's fairly simple. It's easy to do just with one thread, one foot. Oh, one other thing I wanted to mention, I am going to leave this foot on the whole time, because another thing that will help me do is all of my continuous curve. I can make sure that when I'm at that highest point, I'm hitting that 1/2 inch out and then coming back to the corner, which will help make give some consistency to my continuous curve. My continuous curve is not going to be perfect because I am free motioning it, but guess what? It'll be consistent, and that's what I'm looking for.
Excellent. So let me just make sure I'm understanding you correctly. Can you put that foot back down here? So as you're coming out, you're looking right here?
Yes.
So that the edge of the foot is on the seam?
Correct.
Excellent.
On the seam allowance, and then go back. It's one of the things that the Echo feet are really great for, is it can help you it takes away that need to mark things. I don't have to go in and put a little mark in, because I can eyeball where the center is, and then it helps me keep that, once again, that consistency throughout.
So it's gauging that.
Exactly. That's the word I was looking for, gauging. Okay, so that's my design idea for this one. I'm excited to stitch this out. So, Kristina.
My turn. First thing is thread.
So do we want to grab the one without the glare? And I will be in charge of making sure we don't draw on it.
Perfect. Okay. So I am going to use a light gray.
Oh, look at that.
Because I thought it blended pretty well with all of those colors. And this is a micro quilter. Yeah. It's a 100 weight from Superior Threads. So it's a really fine thread. So it's really going to just kind of nest down in there and not be seen as much.
Yep.
So
just going to see the quilting texture.
Yep. And I'm kind of going through the same process that you are, where I'm trying to make this a continuous stitch out where I don't have to break my thread. Okay. Again, what I draw and what I actually stitch, the path might be a little bit different. Right. But you know, we'll do our best.
Exactly.
I am going to use rulers on mine. Okay. And so I am going to use this half circle with the 7 inch. And what I'm doing is I'm wanting to make an arc through here. Okay. So I'm going to put my needle down here, and I've got a 1/4 inch away, and then I'm gauging to not go off my seam over here.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to stitch around the ruler. Beautiful. Okay? And then I'm going to, we kind of actually have similar pathways.
We do.
I'm going to do some like E's and L's in here.
Oh, cool.
Big, little, or medium, small, and then small, medium, big,
Okay.
medium, small, small, medium, big.
Okay, you have to do
small,
this voice while
medium,
you're quilting.
Big. And then when I get to this point, I'm going to bring my ruler back.
Okay.
And I'm going to do that half circle shape over here.
That arc again.
Okay.
Cool.
So I'm right here.
Okay.
Now I'm going to fill in this whole bear paw.
Oh,
And I'm just going to do some feathers.
very cool.
And I'm not drawing a spine, that's the word. We're so good at helping each other remember our words.
We are. Well, especially when you're the one drawing or quilting, we both know that it is like major multitasking to try to do both at once.
Yeah, those are beautiful feathers. Hopefully I quilt them better. But I'm just going to travel back down because I like to do my feathers going one direction.
Okay.
And then I'll come around and do this side.
And you really could do whatever type of feather you are comfortable doing. I noticed that you're doing like bump back feathers,
Yeah.
but you could do a feather of different designs. I love that in there though. It really fills the space.
Yeah. The molar shaped feathers really get in there and you can do fun stuff. Okay, so I just finished my last feather up here, came down my spine, and I'm gonna stitch in the ditch along this block.
Okay.
Now I'm ready to go over to the next quadrant, doing this, big, medium, little.
Well, you've really got your stitch path figured out here so that you are not gonna have to break your thread. I love it.
Here I'm going to do my la-di-da, and then I'm going to do my feathers.
And you know, if you're a little afraid of doing feathers, you could always find a stencil that could help you out with this. I know when I first started quilting feathers, I used a lot of stencils to learn that quilt path.
Yeah, yeah. And they don't have to be feathers. You could do spikes. Here, even in this next one, I'll draw a different thing.
Okay.
Okay, so I traveled along, and then I'm on my next quadrant.
Filling it in again.
And come down. Okay, so for this one, I could just do like spikes.
Oh, very cool.
Oops, I forgot my orange part there. Come down, spike the other way.
Yeah, there's so many different feather variations that you can do, and they're all gorgeous.
Yep.
They look fantastic.
Yep, so that one's done. I'm going to travel, and then I would just continue on doing this last quadrant.
Okay.
I had debated, but I think I've decided that I was going to do these like little swirls in here, which I could come back and do. So let's say I just finished this guy, did my feathers, and I ended up here. I could do some extra stuff before I finish this last thing out. So I would travel. I could put like a continuous curve in here, travel, and then come out. Or I could travel up and put something in there. I think I'm going to leave that open though, just give it a little bit of an open space to relax there.
Okay.
So we'll just erase that.
Take that one out.
Yep.
Well, I love that. I think it
Especially
looks
this one.
fantastic.
That's the best.
That one's going to be the challenge
Yes.
to recreate.
Yes. The magazine's probably thinking, oh, I hope she doesn't do that.
Oh, wow.
So.
Boy, that bear paw. Lots of fun, right?
Yeah, such a traditional block, but so many different ways that you can quilt it.
Absolutely. I know. Maybe I want to make one of these quilts now. I actually had a lot of fun quilting this one.
We did talk about doing two-tone.
Yeah. Oh, two-color.
Yeah.
Red and white quilt.
You were going to do red and white, and I was going to do blue and white.
Exactly.
No, we're going to switch it up. We're going to be wild and crazy and do something out of our norm.
I'll do blue and white, and you do red and white.
That works.
Well, we sure had fun. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and have fun quilting.